Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rage, and we are back today with the full review here of HELLCAT and her addition now into Marvel Strike Force. So just a reminder, remember, now that she's been added, you can actually take advantage of the increased drop rate for the red stars, and you can see we took advantage of the 7 red, and on top of that, now power cores are available to unlock her free to play if you also have power cores, as well as other offers if you like to spend. So we're going to take a look at her full kit, taking preemptively what the T4 recommendations make the most sense on her to ensure that she's going to be functioning as part of that, skill brawler on the team. And as well, keep in mind, this is the last member now for Brimstone, being the final team for the Chapter 2. But if it's similar to what we saw with Fantastic Four MCU, them being the last team for Chapter 1 and starting things off with Chapter 2, I suspect that Brimstone's going to have a very important part, especially since there are specific callouts in the new battle world as well. So lots and lots of value to be had for this team, and they're going to be able to really bring their punch to the game, if you will, being in that top war meta right now, especially combined with Damon Hellstrom. So let's get into it, guys. Let's take a look at what she's going to be bringing to the table for this team dynamic here. Claws out, basic ability, essentially attacking the primary target for piercing damage. As we level this ability up here, this is obviously going to increase the damage, but also in war, respectively, she's going to have a chance here to actually apply ability block on the crit, so giving us a hint already of what potential ISO-8 is going to be effective for her. But what's interesting with this basic as well is she calls on the application of assist now to Damon, so they're going to work in tandem with one another. And then last but not least, T4 upgrade here, just slightly increasing the piercing for additional 30%. So this, in my honest opinion, if you guys are tight on T4 materials, may not make the most sense, because the most important part was really that chance for the ability block, but as well the applying the assist now for Damon, so that way he's getting additional strikes as well. So just something to be mindful of there. Special catastrophic cuts. So you take a look here, attacking primary target once again for piercing damage, also ignores defense up, and in war this attack also cannot be blocked. We're going to see that she's going to be able to apply bleed as well, in addition to heal block, disruption, and more notably the trauma to the primary target. So I don't believe this is an adjacent attack, so it only targets a single character, but high potency here with the piercing damage, heal block, disruption, and as well as bleeds, and the trauma ensures that the debuffs are not going to be able to get removed. So that's really important to note there. The upgrade here is notable, guys, because trauma is one of the most devastating debuffs that you can place on an enemy. So yeah, that's awesome to see. For sure, take advantage of that. This upgrade is 100% worth it in terms of just maximizing her damage output as well. Ultimate Feline Fury, attacking primary target for piercing damage once again, in addition to the application of bleeds. Now you can see this attack, unlike the special, is going to chain. So 4 targets within infinite spaces of previous target for additional piercing, and also applies bleed once again. So this war attack can also not be counterattacked or blocked in that game mode. So this is where she's going to thrive exceptionally. This also clears negative effects, so I really like that aspect, in case maybe there's an offense down on her and you can actually cleanse that right before. There's a heal block here in addition to disruption, very similar to the special. And then more notably in wars, where the extra bonuses kick in, which is the fact that there's going to be a stun being applied to the ultimate ability, especially if they're a brawler. If they're a blaster and that does not have trauma already applied, there's going to be ability block and blind, specifically targeting that blaster. And then finally, icing on the cake here with the T4 upgrade. The stun's going to apply to the primary target. So remember, that's also going to be in effect with any existing brawlers on the team. And as well, the trauma for 2 full turns on the primary and secondary targets. So this is a very scary ultimate ability here. It can hit a lot of targets, obviously, and then trauma all along the way, especially on those secondary targets, in addition to that stun with a bit of crowd controlling aspect. So really liking what she's bringing to the table, a mix of damage, piercing as well. Don't forget, we have some debuffs being placed, but as well, even that chance for the ability block, which is very notable. Alrighty, so lastly, guys, the Infernal Feline passive ability in war. When an enemy does use the basic ability, if that character does not, if that character has ability block, she's also going to be attacking the most injured enemy, ignoring the taunt and stealth. And then with this character's special, catastrophic cuts at level 3. So this actually applies Wow, my goodness. This applies her special ability as a part of a passive with level 3. So again, this only applies in war, but that's very notable. Especially given that there's a chance, obviously, to inflict the more additional bleeds here, right? So it doesn't give you the added extra debuffs, but level 3 with additional bleeding and piercing is pretty notable. So awesome to see. And then there's a little bit more bonuses being applied. And again, keep in mind, this is all going to be war attributed, right? So additional enemies cannot fill up or reduce their speed bar for themselves, allies, or enemies. They're not going to be able to gain the death poof or speed up. So very useful in war to counter some of those meta teams. On spawn, she's going to be generating ultimate ability energy for herself. So it means that outside of war, it's not going to be as effective. So obviously, this is really notable, especially on the on spawn component. And again, a huge bonus in war is that if she does have at least 3 or more of these Brimstone allies, enemies also cannot gain assist now. So that's very useful. Lastly, upgrade here is that when enemy does use their basic and they have the ability block once again, she's going to be attacking the most injured enemy, ignoring the taunt stealth, and then now the catastrophic cuts is actually going to be at level 7. So juicing up this ability all the way to the max with trauma, disruption, and heal block. So you know, honestly speaking, it's really good passives. Just be mindful of the fact that if you're not building her up for war, I mean, all of her passives are basically applied directly into war, with the exception of this one where she does gain the on-spawn here, additional ultimate ability energy, which is good for her kit, of course. So I would save on the passive if you aren't using her in war, but otherwise I do recommend it just because if you're already building her up for obviously the chapter components, Age of Annihilus, as well as the Battle World component similar to Astro, I think it makes sense, honestly speaking. So priority wise, I think the special and the ultimate definitely need to be upgraded first right away. The passive is really more of a bonus, especially if you're using her in war and elevating that special to level 7, of course. And then basic is if you're really, you know, generous with your T4s, this is just an extra little boost of damage for the basic, but I wouldn't recommend it just because of how costly it is and you know, diminishing returns, of course. So there you guys have it. I think those are respective upgrades that I would focus on. Obviously the key abilities first, and then the basic, leave that for last. Now let's talk about the ISO-8, guys. With many of her abilities being tied back to piercing, you really want to maximize the damage output that she's been getting. So for me personally, I'm probably gonna slot her in as a raider at first. Something that I can see valuable as well is the fact that she does have the striker component where, you know, she can be applying additional attacks, and that will also give you a chance, especially in war, to apply that crit with the opportunity for an ability block. So a little bit of a different dynamic. I think Raider is going to be more common, and then the Striker is going to be dependent on certain matchups where you want that additional crowd controlling with their ability block there. So there you guys have it. Do let me know down in the comments below if you agree or disagree. Anything else that you saw useful with her, but I think she's a valid addition now to round things out here with Brimstone as we wait for their free-to-play unlock in the game as well. Do thank you guys for your time, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.